everybody. We're here today with Debbie Goosic-Lane. Debbie is a member of the family, the Goosic Performance Speed Equipment Total Performance family. Debbie's one of the siblings of one of the greatest group of racers I know, or performance guys, and she has a lot of history around racing and in the family business as well, which is very important because the family business did a lot of the important things for the valley to help them bring them along in the racing industry. So, Debbie Lane, you're an Arizona drag racing legend.
Well, thank you.
Did you ever think you would achieve such heights?
No, I didn't, and I'm really proud to have. Thank you.
You and your family have some great stories and a great history in our valley. Your love for racing. You were the sister. You were the one that kind of like was over there, but I always thought more observant than most people gave you credit for, and you really knew what was going on, and you had a voice, an opinion that you helped share with the family business. So you were born here in Phoenix?
Yes.
And you went to Camelback High School?
Camelback High School.
And what do you remember about Camelback?
I had a good time there, but it was rather cliquish. It was kind of a probably middle to upper income area, and so there was a variety of people there, but mostly like a lot of people, because I went to the same grade school all 8 years, and a lot of people from that grade school, we all went to the same high school. So
You matriculated with the same group of people.
Right.
So in high school, what were your interests? What did you? It was like, I can't wait to get out of here, or was there anything you did that you enjoyed about high school?
There were things I enjoyed. I wasn't good at it, but I did a lot of art classes. I enjoyed doing archery, doing track, softball, a lot of sports. And I would take like a foreign language class once in a while. I wasn't very good at that either, so.
But you experienced school.
Right.
You did. So during school, of course, a lot of guys in the auto shop there. A lot of guys had cars in the parking lot, and there were some of them who were decal queens, and some were some really fast, quick cars. But how long did it take for people to realize that you were that Goosic of the Goosic family, and what was that like?
I think most of them, knew my brothers, because my younger brother Tom and I were basically at the high school at the same time. Jim and Bill had left just prior to Tom and I getting there. So I think a lot of them, really they didn't talk to me that much, but I'm sure they talked, my brothers knew them and stuff.
So they didn't always come and say, hey, can you help me out with a discount
Right.
on this?
Yeah.
I need a set of headers for my Camaro.
No, I don't remember that
No, I
happening.
don't remember
No.
that, but they did know it, and
I'm sure, yeah,
So-
I went by the name.
on weekends, how involved were you going to the races?
At that time, I wasn't involved. Racing wasn't my thing, until probably after I got out of high school. And then I remember my oldest brother Bill racing down in Tucson, and I had moved out and had a roommate, and instead of going and hanging out and doing things with my roommate and my other friends, I started, hitching a ride with somebody, to go down to Tucson to hang out.
So you
down
go
there.
down with Bill? So
just
what were your
because
stories?
we had fun.
Was he nice for you on the hitching the ride? Because when I hitched a ride with
yeah,
him, he used to make me sit in the back of the pickup truck.
Well, no, I don't think
Okay.
he made me do
Okay.
that, but yeah, and plus I have my own car and stuff too, so I could, just go down there and meet them and stuff and hang out down at the races.
So you really started enjoying the racing, or being there, and after high school, kind of.
Basically, yes.
And at the same time, you're working in the family business.
Right.
And so you'd see some of these people in the shop, and then you'd see them at the track, and kind of brought together.
Yeah.
What kind of cars did you like to watch?
I liked to watch the faster cars. I don't really remember what class they were, you know, if it was the super comp cars at that time. And I did like the funny cars and stuff, but we, you know, just going down for the weekend, say to Tucson, you didn't have that many of the faster or pro cars, you know.
Have you ever made it past on a drag strip driving a car?
No, I have not.
Why
Never.
haven't we done that yet?
Well, I always wanted to, but I wasn't the star of the family. My husband was.
It's
so.
well, it's not too late. We're gonna make sure that happens.
Oh, my God, that would be awesome.
Yes, it should happen.
You
So,
know, that would
but
be awesome.
you were there watching and you had the passion for it.
I did. I loved it.
Everything
I
loud,
loved
everything.
Yeah, I loved the environment. I loved, you know, it didn't bother me that my husband, Chris Lane, drove funny cars and drove fast. I actually, because I grew up around racing and knew really how I felt it was safer than what he did for a living, which was being an iron worker. And I was like, yeah.
You mean like walking up high with iron?
Right, on a beam, like, you know, a foot wide or whatever they are.
So drag racing looked pretty safe compared
It
to
did.
the Wow.
Yes,
You felt good about the
Yes.
when you would go out to the races, and would you sometimes take some friends out there? Did you have any friends that went, they got it, or did most of them, if you took somebody out, they kind of said, oh, that was nice?
Actually, most of the people that I knew out at the races were racers, you know, and so, like when Chris was driving for Ron Sutherland, the Desert Rat, we did a lot of match racing in the early days, like the 80s, early 90s and stuff. And so we would do, you know, we'd go to Salt Lake City, Boise, Portland, Seattle, Spokane, do like a little loop like that. And so a lot of the people that were out there, you know, were the other racers and their wives and families and stuff. And so we just, you know, it was just like a big party, you know. We'd all stay at the same place and go out to eat at the same place, same time. We'd make arrangements and do that. And so those were the people that I knew.
So we hear about this Chris guy.
Mm-hmm.
And you knew Chris Lane for a long time.
I did, yes.
Before you became
Before we
Mrs.
got
Lane.
married, yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And what would you? He was an amazing guy. He was one of those guys
I thought so.
along the lines of a Johnny West or Mark Niver that could build it, make it,
right.
drive it.
Mm-hmm.
Very talented person. What caught your attention of this guy?
I don't know. I like you said, I knew him for a long time, and I was working at my dad's shop. It was the 1661 East Indian School shop, and he and Joe McKee. No, I'm sorry, not Joe McKee. Joe Pierce.
Joe Pierce.
Sorry,
Okay.
and Snidely, Greg Kritzer, had opened up a shop called Ace Auto on 16th Street. And they would come in and buy parts from us and stuff. And so, I don't know, Chris and I just started talking to each other and got to know each other and just started dating and ended up getting married. We were married for, gosh, almost 40 years before he passed away. And, yeah.
You're a member of the Arizona Drag Racing Hall of Fame, definitely deserve it.
Yes.
Deserve it.
Yes.
You have a son.
Yes.
You have you've got some great stories about the different tracks you went to. Where's your favorite track? If you knew you were going to go somewhere, where did you like to go race? And then not just in Arizona, but anywhere. Because Chris was a well-known racer,
Right.
Definitely.
I think we had a lot of fun in Spokane. That was always a nice place. Salt Lake City was a nice place that drew big crowds and was a nice place to race. I think we only raced like 1 or 2 times at Portland before they closed it down, and I liked it there. I mean, it was just so different than being here in the desert. There, it was just green everywhere. And they, as far as track food went, I thought Portland had the best track food. It was, I was just like, oh yeah, I want to go back there to, to
So it wasn't hard convincing you to go to Portland?
No, well, it wasn't hard to convince me to go to any track, really. I liked racing.
So as part of the team, were you there just for moral support, or did you find yourself jumping in and doing some things sometimes?
I loved to help out, like now I didn't, do a lot of work on the engine, but I would clean parts, I'd help pack the parachute, just do small things like that.
So you're packing the parachute for your husband. Did he ever look at you and say, you are happy with me, right? You want to make sure you did that job very well?
Right,
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you feel good that you were the one doing it versus
Right.
a pit member or somebody else, a pit crew member?
Yeah.
So very
Right.
important thing. I had a lot of great stories about who packs the parachute for whom, and
Right.
if it's a driver's not doing themselves, it better be somebody that they trust.
Right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, like especially doing match racing, we wouldn't always have a full crew. Sometimes it would just be, Ron and Val Sutherland and Chris and myself, and maybe Steve Marley couldn't go that weekend, or Snidely wasn't available or whatever, and so we'd pick up somebody at the track, which wasn't hard to do, but I'd always tell Chris like they don't get to do an important job, because we don't even know them or anything, so,
But it wasn't hard to find somebody to help
No.
out because it was the passion. And
It was,
It was a
yeah.
funny car.
Yeah.
There were times when being there that I'm sure that you had some concerns that when you saw possibly that there's some fires along the way or the engine, but it's amazing how blessed everything was that he came out on the good end. But is there a time you remember in particular that was like you wonder why you're doing this, or did you ever question?
There was a time he was driving the Desert Rat car. It was out at Firebird. I don't remember like who he was racing against or anything, but the car did catch on fire. It was a really bad fire, and I didn't even realize how bad a fire it was until he wasn't even sure he wanted to get back into a car again. And then I was like, well, that was, I knew it looked bad, and he wasn't the kind of person that ever really talked a whole lot about that kind of stuff. But when he finally told me, like, he wasn't sure he wanted to get back into a car again, I was like, well, that's your choice, But I didn't really realize how bad that particular fire was until then,
But he got back in.
He did get back in.
And he continued to do well.
And continued to do well, yes.
The
Yes.
Sutherland family, Ron Sutherland, another great. If he was still with us, we'd be interviewing him. Another great
Yeah,
Arizona
sure.
legend.
Yeah.
What was Ron and Val like to be around?
I really liked them. They were a lot of fun. We all got along real well, and I always liked it when Val could make it to the races. She has a very I don't know how to really describe her sense of humor, but her and Chris pretty much had kind of the same sense of humor, and they got along really, really well. Ron was a goofy person. He could make you laugh. He could make you feel at ease and stuff, and sometimes you're just like, okay, enough with the goofiness, It's time to settle down and,
How long did you race with the Sutherlands?
I believe we started in 1985, and Chris had raced with Ron many years before that, but in 1985, Chris and I started racing with them, and I believe we raced until 91 with them. Yeah. And we did a lot of really neat things, you know, we did some AHRA races and a lot of NHRA races, a lot of match racing. I loved the match racing. I liked the bigger races too, you know, but I liked the match racing the best, I think, you know, because you just, like I said, like, you know, we became friends with Gary Densham and his wife Joanne, the Flournoy family, Ray and Shirley Strasser, you know, the Epperly boys, Henry Harrison, Amos Satterley, you know, I liked, Chris drove John Alleman's sheep herder, and I really enjoyed racing with John and Kathy a lot. You know, that was all fun to me.
A lot of great friendships along the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You still hold those good friends, you know, when you see somebody and
Yeah, I don't really hear or see them as much, except maybe at the reunions.
tell me
and
about the
stuff.
reunion and what that means to you.
I'm like really proud of, you know, Bill for putting together the reunions and stuff. I think they're a lot of fun. For many years I didn't get to go to them because I was working and couldn't get away from work to go enjoy them and stuff, but now I'm retired, and so now I look forward to them.
Well,
think
I know what
they're
you
a
did
lot of
for a
fun.
living,
I know you do.
and you have some exciting stories probably along the way there, but being married to a postal worker, letter carrier myself,
Yes.
I honestly think you should be told thank you for your service,
Well,
because
thank you.
it was a wacky job at times.
It could be, yeah.
Anything stand out that your day you said, I'm glad I got through this day?
Probably just my last day. My last day was very hard. I had been on my route for a long time. I had some really super nice customers, and I was ready to retire, and I wanted to get through the day without crying, you know, because it was very emotional, because I'd known a lot of these people. I knew their families, you know, and so that was probably the hardest day, you know.
So how many people are surprised when you tell them that, when they ask you, well, you had an air-conditioned vehicle, right?
Wrong.
Arizona desert, in a fish tank?
Right. It's like 30 degrees hotter inside those mail trucks, even if you have the windows open and that little 6-inch fan that they have stuck on the window.
So this is your first year of retirement through the summer.
Mm-hmm.
It had to be a year of record 110 degree plus
Exactly,
days.
yeah.
How badly did that make you feel?
Oh, not bad at all. My retired friends and I, we text each other. It's like, whoa, you know, we got out of there just in time, you know.
But that was good for you and good for the family. The job
Oh,
provided
yes. Mm-hmm.
benefits, and you were, you know, what you did was good for Chris and your son as well.
Right.
But you still, at heart, you know, you missed some of the drag racing units. Did you miss many of the drag races because you couldn't get the 3-day weekend or the?
No, because I wasn't working for the post office when
Okay.
we were racing.
Okay.
I started working at the post office like in '92.
Yeah, okay.
So we were done racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so you know that's awesome. So, does your son have an interest in racing, or what's his?
You know, he has an interest in mechanical things. His thing right now is restoring military vehicles. I don't know what the
They're big?
name. They're huge. They're huge. I stand next to the tire, and it's like I'm just a little taller than the tires
So,
on them.
Matt,
Yes,
or you
Matt.
call him Matt or Matthew?
I call him Matthew. Everybody else
Does
calls
he have a
him
middle
Matt.
name when he's in trouble?
Brian.
Well, okay, he never wants to hear that, right?
You know what? He's a very good man. I couldn't be more proud as a mom. He has just like he's never gotten into trouble. You know, he's just a very 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 good man.
You and Chris should be very proud of him. I
Yes.
remember he came and showed us the AHRA ring that Chris had won,
Yes.
and he was so proud of that.
Yes.
I mean,
Mhm.
big time proud. I
Yeah.
mean, he's proud of his family, That's really an awesome story to tell. He's a great kid. And you should be very, very proud of that.
Thank you.
The days of working in the speed shop, do you remember? Is there any day that you think you liked about it more than others, or was it any customers that sound?
I liked it because I liked, cars, and I was learning all, about the different parts, and the different people that would come in. There was a lot of racer people that would come in, some of them I remember, some of them I don't, but it was fun. It was, like you were talking with my mom earlier and talking about the store, the way the store was all set up, and it was more like you could just come in and go shopping. You could walk up and down the aisles and, shop for what you wanted, and, the really hardcore stuff, I think you had to order over the counter, but all the regular normal things, Plus I worked with my dad. My dad had, not only did he have the speed shops, he had warehouses. I think he had 2 warehouses, one in Tucson and one here in Phoenix, and I worked at the Phoenix one for a while, and I can't remember who worked there. I don't remember if it was Jerry Olsred. You
remember
worked
Jerry?
there.
Joe McKee worked for you for a short while, didn't he?
I think so. I
Yeah.
kind of don't. That had to be
Yeah.
real early, and I don't
Vince
really
Thomas?
remember that. I remember Vince Thomas. Yeah,
So you enjoyed the family business, though?
I did, and I really kind of was a little put off because all my brothers got their own shops and I didn't. But,
It
well,
just-
that's how it. That was the times.
Maybe everybody was afraid that you not do them.
That must have been it.
So I remember she had some. What was your first car you bought?
The first car I bought, I don't remember what year it was, but it was an orange Nova that had black and white, what I call houndstooth print seats, and that was my first car. I bought it at Madison Chevrolet. That was my first car.
That was kind of your signature first car. People would see that because the orange was
Yeah.
That's her.
I mean, it was huge. It was a huge car, And then I think I traded that in, and I got I bought a Camaro, and used to hang around, go pick up my friends, and like we'd meet you and Tom, different places, and we'd all hang out together, and I'd have my Camaro. And then I traded my Camaro in for a 94 Porsche. What was that? Was it a
928.
924, I
924.
think. Yeah, 924. And so we would, like Jim Clifford, Tom, me, you, Kimbo sometimes would, pile into it and drive over to Orange County, go to the races. We'd get there like right when they were opening up in the morning, and be at the racetrack all day, and then we'd all drive home, the next day. That was good times.
Good
I don't
times.
think I could do that now, but
Well,
that was fun.
I think it's a little bit tough on everybody to do
Right.
that turnaround. Yeah, I know how the long.
But we had
longer-
enough people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could switch off.
Right.
I seem to remember on one of those drives, everybody fell asleep in the car. I think I might have been driving your Nova, and I took the wrong turn. I was going towards Riverside instead of Ontario or whatever, and everybody, I don't know.
Yeah.
We got there. It worked
Right.
out.
Right.
A big part of what you've done is, in the family is important. Your memories. You were a big part of the group, even though you didn't have your own store, which you made a lot of things happen. You had a great relationship with Chris Lane. Great stories, great memories. Now that you have the time, I know that you try to be as big a part of the reunion as possible. We'll see you there, the reunion, and have a chance to see some friends. Anything you missed the most about the drag racing, or
Well, we did, we raced with Chris Karamessinis for a while. We helped out with Jimmy Stewart and Dave Settles. That was a lot of fun. I kind of miss, that. There was a lot of experience there. And we did really well, with Chris's car, Chris Karamessinis' car at that time. And then after that, we raced with Jim Murphy in the Holy Smokes car from up in Santa Rosa, California, and we had a good time with him also. We didn't do as well, I don't think, as we did with Karamessinis' car. But it was fun. It was different, and Chris wasn't driving at that time. He was the clutch guy on both of those cars, and so it was a different experience. But Chris had told each of them that he would go along and help, and they didn't really have to do anything but pay his way, but he wanted me to go along too, so everybody agreed to that, and so I got to go hang along, and we got to go to a lot of the big races that NHRA put on, which was a lot of fun, and it was a completely different experience than when we were match racing and racing with Ron and Val.
You're the big show.
We were at the big show, yeah. That was that was a lot of fun. It was just a whole different deal.
The memories of Chris are fantastic. Your memories of the family, the speed shop, the different races. These are things that that people can never imagine. The awesome things you got to see and do.
Right.
And as such, you're part of it. You're a big part of your family's business. You're a big part of with Chris and the racing in the family. You may say I just did this or this, but you were a big part of it, and you gave support to a lot of people, and you inspired a lot of people, including myself. And as such, a very good reason why you're an Arizona drag racing legend.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it.
And we
Thank
enjoy
you.
having you here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.